We are back from our trip to Sicily, Italy, where I led an art retreat with Uptrek, and I cannot wait to share all about the trip in this week's video on Bits of an Artist's Life. I'm going to share about the trip in 2 videos, and a third one will be an art tour of all the work I created on the trip. I've already made 2 videos about the trip, one with me preparing for the trip and another one with all the supplies I took. I've also created a playlist for all the videos called Painting Italy, so everything will be bundled there. Let's jump into the first half of the trip. Here we are at the airport getting fueled up for the day. Burgers, of course, great way to start a long trip. We got an Airbnb for a few days before the retreat, so I could just adjust to the time zone, and it had a huge rooftop terrace with amazing views. It was really, really hot in Sicily, but with a breeze and shade, I was able to paint out on the terrace in the morning and afternoon, and I painted as much as I could. If you think you would be interested in a retreat like this in the future, where I announce these kinds of things first is on my blog. So I announce workshops, retreats, online classes, anything big like that. That is where I will first announce it. So make sure that you're subscribed there. I'll have a link below, but you can also just go to my website and where it says blog, click on it, and you can put your info in there. I do not send out much stuff, so don't worry about getting spammed by me. You will only get maybe like a few posts a year. Every now and then I'm a little more active on my blog than other times, but this year I've just not had much bandwidth for it because there's just been a lot on the plate. But that is where I announce things first. Grady actually ended up keeping this one for himself. Every now and then he will snatch one of my paintings and keep it for himself, which is always a big compliment. I think he wanted a memory from the trip. When it was too hot, I painted from the inside, looking out the windows. It was so nice to have this time before the retreat to just rest and also just to paint basically like nonstop for myself. It gave me a chance to start learning the landscape a little, even though where I was going to be for the retreat, the landscape was quite different. It still let me get used to the lighting and really just kind of get warmed up for the retreat to paint, and it was just so nice because though I did get to paint at the retreat, not as much as like I did at the beginning at this Airbnb where I just got to paint and paint and paint. And also it's a different kind of painting when you're painting by yourself with nobody but your husband who has the camera and is filming you, looking over your shoulder. That time where you get to just really get in the zone is so different than when you're doing it for a demo. You know, you can't take hours to do it. You need to do it quick. You need to be able to talk through what you're doing. It's really fun to do that, and I really enjoyed it at the retreat, but it's a different mindset. So I was so thankful to have this time before the retreat started to get used to the time zone, to rest my body, and to paint like a maniac. I kept my supplies pretty minimal and mainly painted with my acrylics on paper the whole time. I have a video here on YouTube where I share the supplies that I took if you're interested. This was the picture I took to show my mom we were alive and had made it to Italy. All the footage while we were here at this Airbnb looks like it's all one day because I just wore the same shirt every day. I realized like how hot it was and how few clothes that I brought, and I thought I probably need to save all my clean, fresh stuff for the retreat people so I'm not stinking. So I just wore the same shirt. Yeah, I did, and it was fine. Not the cutest shirt, but it worked. There was so much to see from this rooftop that I feel like I could have stayed here for like a week or two and just gotten used to the landscape and painted and painted. There was views of the sea, so many mountain views, rooftop views. I mean, it just was like a painter's paradise. I tried to keep this like picnic tablecloth, plastic paper cloth thing that I took with me to try to keep paint from getting on the balcony, and covered things, but it was windy and it was kind of hard, but I did my best. I'm done. Hello. Sign it, call it quits. I mean, I'm a mess. GFD's so close. Okay, it's hot. Spray the paints so they don't dry out. A little drinky drink. Go in and take a little drinky drink myself of water. Right, I need to sign this, but I'll do it inside. I was quite happy with how this one turned out. I am working in the studio right now, making some bigger versions of this one, and I love it. So I keep being drawn to these mountains that are over there, and you can see a little peak of the sea. You don't see this here, but I needed to balance something out. So Grady was my helper to decide what to do, which kind of a bigger spot here, smaller spot here balances out. And I just really zoomed in on those mountains and focused on color and pattern, and I'm really happy with it. I love how this guy turned out. I'm gonna sign it and call it a day. Well, I'm gonna keep painting, but I'm gonna call this painting done. That it was time to say goodbye to this part of Italy and move further inland for the retreat. The place where we were was absolutely stunning. You can see it there. This was our drive-in. I just really can't explain how stunning the place was. I'm probably going to say that over and over. This is the first few minutes of everyone getting there and meeting. We were all just like total buzz. Everybody was so excited, probably a little nervous. Then we took a tour of the property and facilities. There were just literally amazing views from every side of the retreat center. I felt like I couldn't really even take it all in. We also had this cute cat that was around the property and would join us sometimes for meals, and it was just so cute. Here's where we had dinner every night, out on this massive terrace, cute like little urns with flowers. Had to take pictures of those. And then here is the view that we had every night at dinner. I mean, it just was literally breathtaking. This was the first night at dinner. We were all just giddy, so excited, eating nice food that we didn't have to cook. That was just a real treat, the whole, retreat, just not having to cook. When I came back, it was like, oh yeah, I gotta be a normal human and cook my own meals. We just were like all so excited. I mean, can you tell? This is our table and all of us there, and Grady and I are just like beaming with happiness. The first full day after breakfast, we met in our stunning, absolutely stunning indoor studio. I mean, we literally could not have had a better studio. It was huge, it was beautiful. And we met up for a quick chat to set some expectations and what we'd be doing that day. And then we went out for our first painting demo. Okay, what I always my instinct is to want to just start painting. We gathered in this like terraced patio area that had some shade, and I did this demo and then gave everyone time to spread out and paint. And here's the demo that I did for that very first day, just trying to capture color and shape and getting to know like the scenery. We were all just learning it, and it was all new for all of us. Then in the afternoon, we met back in the studio during the hottest part of the day to do some teaching and some lessons. And then when it cooled down, we went out for a bit. There is. There was this amazing storm coming quickly towards us, and we were all like frantically painting before it reached us, which it never did get to us, but it was kind of nice to have like that clock ticking and these really stunning, just amazing dramatic clouds and the scene changing. I don't know, I really can't explain how amazing the scenery was, and I'm quite sure that the video footage that I took absolutely did not capture it. You can use your imagination, but it was breathtaking. And here's the quick demo I did for that rainstorm that was coming towards us. All the days at the retreat center were like that. We would meet up in the studio for a quick meeting in the morning, then we would paint outside because there were so many amazing views and places on the property to paint. Grady would go out and like scope places that were in the shade, and then he'd gather us all up like little ducklings and take us there, which was so nice. So we just had lots of comfortable places to sit and just take our time taking in the views. It was quite comfortable in the shade, like early. Some of the days as the week got on, it got hotter and hotter, and it was a little harder to get out there as much. I mean, there were a couple of the students that were from Texas and were used to the heat, so they got out a little more than some of us that were a little more sensitive to the heat. And either in the morning or afternoon, I would do a demo for everyone, which was really fun to do. I was kind of surprised. I think it took me by surprise how much people enjoyed watching me paint and what they got out of it, so that was really encouraging. One day after a lesson, I set up a still life for us to practice that lesson. The resort had so many amazing items, but everything was like 300 years old. I took like the lady that owned it around and was like, "Is this very old?" And she'd be like, "Yes, it was 300 years old." I'd be like, "Okay, I don't want to use that." There were just like great objects and fabrics with patterns and stuff, but I tried to pick some things that didn't look ancient. And I also rated our snack bar for things for the still life. Another day after teaching a lesson on the figure and its proportions, we went to the tea room and acted like we were at a coffee shop and sketched one another. It was so much fun. Everyone enjoyed it so much. And it was so nice because we didn't have to fear like getting caught looking at someone. We could just like stare and know it was okay. Everyone did such fun sketches from this, and it was really fun at dinner, like everybody showing their sketches. This is what I did, and it's one of my favorite sketches from the whole trip. As the week kind of went on and we all got a little more comfortable, not only painting around one another, but getting used to one another. Some of the evenings, like before dinner, we'd meet up and would share with the group some of the things that we liked from that day, which was really fun and encouraging. There in the studio, all over the walls throughout the week, I would just tape up all the paintings that I was doing just to be able to share it with others. It was just kind of a nice way to reference things also when I was teaching lessons and giving examples, and also people could take pictures or purchase them. Here are just some extra pictures from the retreat that I thought would be fun to share. In case all of this looked incredibly glamorous, I did spare you some of the rockier bits, like how the trip began with vomiting and ended with severe diarrhea. Lots of challenging things in between, but the trip as a whole was amazing and so worth the rough start and end. In the next video, I'm going to share the second half of the trip, which included 2 amazing outings, very special places. That will be in 2 weeks, and I cannot wait to share that with you then. So if you're not already subscribed, make sure to subscribe and ring that bell so you'll get notified when the next couple of videos are out.